who are well renowned and they have achieved in their life. Most of them are NRIs. And today, the topic is Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. What exactly this Indo-American Chamber of Commerce? So probably you will get more insight from the president of what this organization is and what are the functions of it. So I will just give a brief about what is this Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, which is established in 2017. It's a bilateral chamber synergizing between India and US economic engagement. The mission of this is, to promote bilateral trades, investments, technology transfers, facilities, business collaborations, joint ventures, marketing, and strategic alliances. So definitely, this is useful for all of the NRI members or the small businesses owners to know about this. Welcome to the show, Dr. Sheikh. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we start, I will introduce yourself and then hand it over to you to give more if I missed anything about yourself, and then we will get into the clarity of what it is.
Thank you, Praveen.
Dr. Sheikh is a true doctorpreneur and philanthropist. He was born and raised in India, where he went to medical school at early age of 17. He was awarded Lifetime National Merit Scholarship at the age of 15 by Government of India upon his graduation. He moved to US and completed his residency at the Medical College of Georgia and been practicing internal medicine in Atlanta over 25 years. He has worked for some of the largest corporations in healthcare as an executive medical director. In 1997, he founded the Primary Care Center, a new model of health in the primary care setting with a goal of making healthcare more accessible and affordable to the community. The company currently has several locations in Atlanta area. He has since founded multiple successful corporations and numerous professional organizations. He is currently the president and CEO of Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, Atlanta Film Academy, Atlanta International Film Festival, and the Indo-American Medical Society, the Primary Care Center, Giovanni Medical Spa, CompuPro International, and the Lions Gate Group. He is quite engaged in Indo-American relations and work closely with the external ministry in India as well as with the Consul General of India in Atlanta. Dr. Sheikh has been very active in the community. He serves on many boards of several nonprofit organizations, including the Johns Creek Symphony Orchestra, the Atlanta Festival Academy, the Johns Creek Chamber of Commerce, and serves as a board of trustees of Gwinnett Technical College. He's active member and president-elect of the Sandy Springs Rotary Club. He is a graduate of Leadership Sandy Springs class of 2017. He has been honored by his peers with 2019 Man of the Year Award. He has served on board of directors and presidents of the Dorothy C. Benson Multipurpose Senior Complex and the Sandy Springs Educational Force Business Advisory Board, and also directors of the United Nations Atlanta chapter and the Indian American International Chamber of Commerce. He's a member of American Medical Association and the Medical Association of Georgia and the American College of Physicians, the American Laser Society, the American Bariatric Society, the American College of Occupational and Environmental Medicine, the HPV prevention. Dr. Sheikh enjoys traveling and spending time outdoors with his family. Fantastic, phenomenal career I could see, Dr. Sheikh. Thank you so much again for bringing this community together and also having this Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. So tell us more, only the journey, what made you think to start this organization, wonderful organization? You're on mute.
First of all, thank you for having me, and good morning to all of your viewers, and good evening if they're international viewers somewhere in India. That was a great introduction. Thank you. It's pretty long, though. I need to cut it down a little bit. Well, we all have history behind, great things that we do in life. See, my history actually started, believe it or not, in India. And I'll be brief, otherwise we'll go on for half an hour just talking about that. So when I was young, I was, still in college, trying to go to medical school back in mid-70s. I was in India our family had great businesses in India, and we had departmental stores, my father. And, we used to sell pretty much every product like Coca-Cola, Fanta, Cadbury chocolate, Nescafe, all the products of some German companies like Ciba-Geigy and, things like that. In 75, 76, when Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was there, an emergency was declared. And I think the foreign policy for the businesses, international businesses doing business in India, completely changed. And a lot of international companies like Coca-Cola, IBM, all of these companies did not like the foreign policy. It was more restrictive for them to actually own their own subsidiaries in India without creating a joint venture or partnership with another Indian company and giving up a controlling stock in their own subsidiary, which wasn't going to happen. So I think IBM was pretty much the first one to leave India in 1976, and everybody else followed. And long story short, this impacted, believe it or not, our business in India, because I started saying that we were not getting all of these products that we were selling, and it all disappeared. And somehow it stayed with me that why would that happen, that now we can't sell Coca-Cola and Cadbury and Nescafe, all that in India. When I left India in early 1984, I think it was in January, and the first thing I did on the plane, made a list of things that I need to do when I get to America. Okay. My entire flight, I was just giving a lot of thought to what all I want to achieve. Medicine was part of it. Of course, I had become a physician. I was coming here. I was the first from the family to come. I had $18 in my pocket, and I didn't know what I was going to do next. But I had big dreams. So one of the big things was take Coca-Cola back to India. Okay, that was on top of my list over and over again. Ultimately, I ended up in Atlanta. I was in New York for a couple of years, and then moved to Atlanta back in mid-'80s. And when I saw the Coca-Cola headquarters here, I knew what I had to do. Okay, and in connections with a lot of politicians and some great people and great business leaders, and kind of put me in the position to reach out to the finance minister in India, Manmohan Singh back then, and see how we could change the policy and reverse it, where all these international companies from different countries can come back to India. And after 2 years of significant dialogue and a lot of intensive work that we put in, we were able to open up the foreign policy and modify things. So, this is the little seed that started all these things and put me in the dynamics of more of an international business and trying to do business between India and US and again, medicine was not part of that anywhere. I came here as a doctor, and I put my doctoring on hold because I was more of an entrepreneur at that time, and just continued to conduct a lot of businesses. So 30 years of doing businesses, what ended up happening that I started taking delegations to India with all this politicians and American business leaders and economic development people and congressmen and senators and mayors and trying to conduct business and develop international relationship between India and US. In 2017, one of the delegations that I took was so successful that I think on the way back, the entire delegation on the plane kept saying, said, Dr. Sheikh, you are like a one-man chamber. And you should start your own chamber. Okay. And that actually started the chamber, believe it or not, because they all promised that they'll sit on the board. And I said, okay, let's get to America and start the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. So that was the initiation of Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. There's a little long story, but there's a lot of business behind this of 30 years of experience and a lot of relationship development that kind of push you in a state of mind that what we've been doing for 30 years is what a chamber will do.
Wow, that's very, very interesting. The first catch is, anyone coming to America would dream of making some money, going back, invest, and grow, right? From you, me and you, my viewers have learned you come with the big dreams, right? And then the other interesting thing is being a doctor, adopting the entrepreneurship and making the relationships and making this Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. That's a great history, no doubt about it, Dr. Sheikh. Many of us know in the community, but this is another attempt to take it more to the audience where they need some help on the relations or the economic conditions, how to make their business more between the countries. And as I started initiating this flyer, people started asking me, is this only for IT or is this for other things? And, people started asking me the URL. So I told them that this is not for IT, this is for every other businesses. So mostly people were interested on trading, right? The trade between India and US. So more we will definitely answer those questions. So Dr. Sheikh, after, I think probably you said 1980s. So after 30 years or 37 years, you have started this Chamber of Commerce. So what did you feel now after 37 years? How do you take this to the community? What kind of benefits you wanted to bring it to the community?
First of all, the question is, why did I wait so long to start the chamber, right?
Yes.
It took 35, 37 years, like you said, but it's the right timing. And, initially it was my personal business. It was for-profit business between the countries. And, so it's it kind of an offspring, a spin-off out of my own personal business that we started this nonprofit chamber because I made so many connections and so many relationships that we have developed and groomed over a period of last 40 years almost with different economic development people in the state, with the state of Georgia and so many different states. We're not limited to just Georgia, but our presence is in Georgia and Atlanta. So I always talk about Georgia more, and Georgia is home, and I'm biased. I love Georgia. And Georgia is actually, has been on the top for attracting businesses to come to Georgia for last 9 years, believe it or not, in a row. So it's a lot of business growth and business-friendly government in Georgia, so it helps. But first 2-3 years, the chamber still structurally existed as a lot of great board members, and quite a lot of them are business leaders and CEOs of Fortune 100 companies and a lot of politicians, and so it was a makeup board was phenomenal, even though the difference is what we see generally, what you end up seeing in Indo-American Chamber, that we tend to be more Indo. It becomes more Indo. So the board members, leaders, the leadership is always more Indian, and even the clientele, your members are also more Indian. So I get asked this question all the time, believe it or not, that do you have to be Indian to join the Indo-American Chamber? And I was taken back, and I'm like, we need to truly educate people. Okay, there is American also in Indo-American. Don't forget that. So we say Indo and American. So what does that mean? Are this the Indians who live in America? Or are these the Americans who are trying to do business in India? Or are these the people who are from India who are trying to do business in America? How does it work? I mean, who is this for? And that question stayed there for almost 3 years because initially, like I said, the structure of the board was all Fortune 100 companies and big members. We didn't have general local membership until last year. Sometime in March, we opened up about 9 months ago, believe it or not. We opened up to general public and local businesses. And we started truly educating people that this is not limited to just Indians or people who are trying to do business in India or Indian people whose companies are in India trying to come to America. Of course, that's part of it. I'm not saying we don't do that. But this is about mainstream American businesses want to do business with the Indian community, and they just don't know how to approach the Indian community, and vice versa. The Indian businesses in Georgia, in Atlanta, or local businesses, they just don't know how to get into American market, okay? Because we tend to do business quite a lot with each other, and we remain in this box. And just don't know how to penetrate that market and put ourselves in front of a Fortune 500 company and sell our services or whatever those services might be, IT or anything else, like you said. And in the chamber allows our members to, it gives them that resource and ability to approach the mainstream local market. And that's why it's important that anybody should join. When I say Indo-American, the way we look at this in our chamber is Indo is 1.4 billion people that we're trying to serve. Okay, but then again, when we see American, then there are another 350 million. So American to us are Indians who live in America. And also Caucasian, white, Black, Nigerian, Chinese, Vietnamese, Latinos, they're all American.
Absolutely.
So we're very, very, very inclusive. I mean, if you just look at the makeup of our board, you'll know that it looks like a United Nation, literally. So you have presence of pretty much every community, every demographic you can think of, whether it's women, whether it's minority, veterans, so we're a very inclusive type of a chamber. So, the visibility of this chamber needs to be a mainstream local chamber, which is more international instead of just limited to people who are trying to do business between two countries. We're not that. We're way more than that. So any local restaurant want to join, any barber shop want to join, versus Comcast or Coca-Cola, Mercedes, all those huge companies, they have presence in our chamber. So that's what the chamber is all about.
I think, Dr. Sheikh, I think you clarified all the questions the audience might have. And personally, I have been last year in your one of the event, and I saw it is more diversified. And one of the things I like about is your introduction to the new members. That was very interesting. You give an opportunity on the floor to talk about themselves. That gives more vocal to tell about their businesses, to know about the other businesses. And really, I enjoyed the event when I came.
Good.
And that is where I thought I should bring you on my show to, add more members in the coming years. So before we go more deep into this, I just wanted to tell the audience, what is the memberships, different memberships? How can you be a member? What can you do on the board, or if you want to join, or if you want to be on the event? What is your signature event? If you can clarify what is the cost as well, so that, the audience know all of it.
Well, you've been to one of our signature, I think you've been to more than one.
Yes.
Events. And thank you for that. Probably you should come more frequently, and would love to have you. Um, if I can comment on what you said, my introduction of the new members and all that, business is mainly is people behind the business. It what makes the business. Like your show, your TV, your podcast, everything you do is you. Okay, it's you who makes that happen. Okay, it's always there's a person, an individual or group of individual or team behind it, and it's very important for us as a chamber to groom that leadership into right direction. That's one of our resources, actually, believe it or not, to create leaders. Because once we have that, their presence and how we hold their hand and give that personal attention, everybody is afraid to speak in public, and we give them that opportunity to introduce themselves and talk about their business to the audience at any time, and be able to sell their services or create relationships and do this great networking. So I always enjoy bringing in new people and introducing them on the floor, and give them an opportunity to connect with the audience and talk about their business. So having said that, our membership, like I said earlier, COVID kind of tanked us for a couple of years. We didn't do much. Every business suffered in the US and in the world, where, so when we started the general membership, we decided that in the earlier phase of the chamber, our members were pretty heavy duty, big corporate people, and it remained there. So, our membership was as big as $15,000, $10,000, $5,000 a year. But when last year in March, when we rolled out to general public, local businesses, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, individual one-man shows, then we brought down the membership to $350 a year. Okay. And we have a lot of people from the Indian and American community join at that level. We have $500 membership. We have $1,000 membership. We have then have Chairman Circle membership, which starts at $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, and $15,000. Now, with each level of membership, of course, you have enormous number of resources that you're getting. The degree of attention and hand holding and from the leadership of the chamber, it comes in at $1,000, but even at $350 and $500, people are getting equal attention. You've seen that. You've seen that at our event. We don't defer. I mean, it's not like somebody who's paying $10,000 and getting a whole lot more attention than somebody who's $350. As a matter of fact, the person who's paying $350, that's all they can afford. They actually need more attention, because we want to make sure that they're able to succeed and make their business grow, and put them in front of these people who pay $15,000 and say, here, do business together. Talk about your business to this Fortune 100 company. Go sell your services and become big, because our goal is to create leaders and make other people's businesses successful. That's what our success is. See, our success as a chamber comes from seeing our members' businesses be more successful. Okay, that's pretty much the bottom line.
Absolutely. Right? I think I saw that within the $350 we can present ourselves. That's a great opportunity for everybody.
Yeah, and not once, multiple times. People have come almost every month to an event. We have great food, great environment, great networking people. I mean, people come from all different directions. There are people driving and flying in from distance. We had some people come from Arizona. There are two businessmen drove from Tennessee. There's again a couple of business people in real estate. They drove all the way from North Carolina. It's when you see that, you kind of start asking, we must be doing something right, right?
Absolutely.
That if people are willing to drive 3, 4, 5 hours or fly 3, 4 hours to come attend our events, then we're doing something right. So
Absolutely,
hope we
Dr.
continue to do that and grow the membership, and that's what we're trying to do. About the events this year, we're getting ready to add multiple different types of events.
Mhm.
It's not going to be all, just a big dinner and 200 people party. We have great speakers come out every signature event. But also, we're going to have like a small business teaching series where, going to have 20, 30, 60 people in the audience and have panel discussions. So we're going to invite some great business leaders, community leaders to come out and speak and talk about business. And, they can talk about how to start a business, to how to do your taxes, to how to save money, how to cut the overhead, how to do digital marketing, how to succeed and grow your business, how to sell your business, create an exit strategy. I mean, a lot of things to learn, so that's one thing. And we're also getting ready to start, we're big on women entrepreneurship, and so we're going to have just women entrepreneurship in women audience where, they'll have a lot of speaking engagements and things like that. Young entrepreneurs, we're grooming, nowadays, younger and younger crowd is becoming billionaires. They all got those unicorns in IT and wearing jeans and t-shirt, running around with a laptop, sitting at Starbucks, and they're starting companies which are making, sell it for $300, $400, $500 million. So, our focus is to bring in young entrepreneurs to the table too. And give them the resources they need to succeed and help the startups and things like that. So
Absolutely. I think you have covered the length and breadth of the events. Thank you so much, Dr. Sheikh. So one other thing I would like to more deep dive into a little bit on the young entrepreneurship. Do you have any mentorship program in your channel?
We do. We have actually a significant number of, some of our resources are where, one of not just our board members, they're phenomenal people. If you look at their bios and their resumes and where they come from, we got one of our board member ran IHG. He was a vice president. He ran a $6 billion portfolio of the hotels and all that, and just retired. Who was one of our board member. They're people with served 30 and 40 years in the industry, and IT industry and healthcare industry, a lot of different industries, and film industry. And, so what happens, these people have so many great ideas themselves, and they are our resource for the members too. And so you talked about mentorship. They definitely, some of our members actually, especially younger crowd, reach out to these people and continue to gain access to them. And we definitely have, even from high school, believe it or not, some of the colleges in town, like Gwinnett has sit on the board, they're sending a lot of students and chamber, a lot of chamber members even, and board members are, providing the mentorship. So yeah, it's one of the very big project, believe it or not.
That's a great thought. So please do let us know so that our viewers also will be able to know when there is a mentorship program. Our kids, NRI kids would be interested to. Probably I'll get more information and translate to the community. So tell us, I think in the interest of time, I have a couple of more questions which are very key. One would be, what are your last 5 years achievements? If I would ask you, what are the great things you have done from the chamber which are useful to the community, I would like you to explain them.
Sure. if you deduct the 2 years that we lost with COVID, then the last 5 years, not just creating the network and the infrastructure, and like I said, 35 years of doing business with a lot of people. At least it allowed us to bring all of these resources to the table and provide it for our members. And what a lot of our members have enjoyed, some of the resources they're not even aware of, believe it or not. I mean, to give you an example, the state of Georgia economic development has, 82 different programs, believe it or not. Okay. Most people don't know that. Most people don't know that you can tap into so many resources, not just abundance of money for minority and other businesses, but in community development and certain areas of the community where the state actually wants to see people come in. Give you an example. Recently, I got approached by economic development and said, "Do you know anybody who's willing to open up a liquor store? They're willing to give $500,000."
Wow.
And I'm like, really? What kind of economic development plan is this? Well, there's a community about 250 miles south, somewhere that there's no liquor store in town. The nearest liquor store is 35 miles away. Community needs a liquor store. There's a state highway kind of runs through close by, a lot of trucks and this and that, and there is a bed and breakfast and with 8 rooms right there, but there's no liquor store.
Awesome.
Okay? And the local community development people approach me and say, "Dr. Sheikh, do you know anybody who would like to open up?" And not just that, not just that they give you the land for free, maybe $1 lease for 99 years and give you the money to start, but also, help you get the money from the bank, and they'll vouch for it, and you can borrow money at less cost. It's just one of the example that I'm giving you. Sometimes we just don't know. I mean, there are a lot of plans, a lot of funding, federal funding, which is earmarked at the state level to be spent. Like when Trump was in the office, $179 million were given to Georgia.
Wow.
And this money needs to be spent for this purpose in community development, and for this purpose, whether it's a minority-driven or stressed community development areas, or certain zones, or certain type of businesses. So what happens? That money just sits there, and community development and economic development people just don't know what to do with it, right? They want to give that with both hands, but they just don't know who to, right? It just sits there and eats away. Nothing happens. The money goes back to the federal government, and the state loses that for the next year and next year, and so that needs to be spent in the right direction, right? So it is one of the resources, So you said in the last 5 years what we have achieved. We brought in a lot of different businesses to Georgia and some other states. That's another thing we've done, that helps the local economy, local community development, helps local taxes, especially in film industry. We brought in a lot of business from outside, in EV battery industry, so there's certain industries in manufacturing, and they're coming to Georgia. We facilitate that. We find them turnkey operations close to Savannah, close to the port, close to the highway. They're looking for land or buildings and warehouses, and so we've been a facilitator in those type of ventures also for the state of Georgia. So that's of course part of economic development and part of workforce development. When we help groom a lot of talent. We have Film Academy We're grooming a lot of talent, a lot of kids, young people, entrepreneurs trying to go in film industry. That's a 18-month program that we're training them. They automatically, at the tail end, land a great job in studios and making movies, whether it's, building a stage or director, producer, accounting, cameras, rigs, editing, audio, audio visual, engineering. So there are a lot of these things that we do behind the scenes and have done the last 5 years that has helped with the workforce development in the state of Georgia. That's what they call it. So there's been significant achievements, that last 5 years. We've been busy providing all of this to our members because now the membership has grown rapidly, believe it or not. I mean, in 9 months, needless to say, yesterday we met last night at our Republic Day celebration. And one of the state senator, Sean Still, introduced me as to other senators and Congress people, saying, "Meet Dr. Sheikh. He has the biggest chamber
Absolutely
in the state of Georgia." I'm like, "Oh, really? How did we become that big all of a sudden?" We just started enrolling membership, not even a year. We're growing rapidly. You've seen it at our signature event. A couple of hundred people show up. It is phenomenal, and we're happy. So we want to continue to grow and continue to provide those great services that I talked about and great resources to all of our members. I mean, some of the resources are not just the access to all this. The relationships with the state or economic development, but also, learning and teaching and discussions. And we have a new project called CEO Roundtable, okay, where we're going to invite the CEOs of different size companies, and they get to sit down on a truly a roundtable and discuss their headaches, their problems, their day-to-day operational issues, or how to grow their companies. So what we want is a small business with an annual revenue of $2 million, sit down with a company with annual revenue of $100 million or $400 million and learn from them and say, what headaches did you have when you were small? And how did you get to be where you are? It's one of those, discussion resource that I think will be very helpful to some of our members. And I can't wait to start that this year.
I think that's great achievement, and it takes a lot of efforts to really do all these coordinations and facilitations. And I think that's a great achievement from the Chamber of Commerce, and probably more and more people definitely want to join. I myself want to join, definitely I'll do after this, because I see a lot of insightful information from the government, and I see you very active. Yes, last night also I was very much observing you from how you are interacting with the different senators, commissioners, mayors, and all those kinds of stuff. So definitely, that's a great insight to all the audience. And also, one more question I always get: you have a Indo-American chambers in US, and there is also an Indo-American chamber of India. So, what is your connection? Is there any plans in future to collaborate and get together? Because that will be a humongous benefit for Indo-American relationships. Can you please expand on those grounds?
Oh, sure. No, actually, I'm glad you asked. Yeah, totally forgot about that. As a matter of fact, we are the new chamber that just started literally, 5 years ago. But they've been around for 35, 40 years, right?
Absolutely.
So believe it or not, our inception was modeled after them. So, all these years, like I said, when I travel, take delegations to India with all those foreign leaders and business and politicians, and guess who actually receives us all these years? It's always been the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce in India.
Oh,
Okay?
wow.
And that's where it all started. So every time we've gone there to India, they're the one hosting us. They're the one actually taking the entire delegation and put us in front of their membership, and we are the panel discussing things when we go to India in front of Indo-American Chamber of Commerce members, okay, in Mumbai. Now, when we fly from Mumbai to Chennai, then Indo-American Chamber of Commerce chapter Chennai receives us, take us out to lunch and entertain us and take care of our sometimes even transportation or inviting local businesses and business leaders and politicians. They're the one hosting us, right? Same in Bangalore, same in Pune, same in Hyderabad. Okay, so what is happening that Indo-American Chamber of Commerce in India, the different chapters, they're always been there for us. Okay, so I call them, and then we started later on, say after coming back here, and we called that the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce Atlanta. Okay, so so there's no competition. There is no, as a matter of fact, they've been such a great alliance for us
Absolutely.
all those years, and such a great resource for us all those years. Believe it or not, we've learned a lot from them. They've helped me do a lot of business in India, and they continue to do so. Next delegation we're taking, of course, they're going to be the one hosting, and they're going to be the one facilitating in different cities. So we really enjoyed that sister relationship with all Indo-American Chamber of Commerce chapters, mainly in Mumbai, in India. So.
Absolutely. I think at one point, aligning, collaborating will always give more mileage. It's not a competition, but a healthy competition, I would say.
Absolutely.
So definitely, I think I wish. And tell us, some last question would be on the imports and exports. So one of the aspirant wants to, I'm sure he's watching this show today. Tell us more, any insights on import exports? Do you have any connections? Help them in any way?
Sure. Believe it or not, 35 years ago, I had to do a lot of research myself back in the mid 80s to understand import export, because the resources, we didn't have internet back then. We couldn't just type, give me Georgia's this or India's this. But nowadays, information is so handy, so available. But still, every time I go to India, I get asked this in panel discussion in one of those Indo-American Chamber last in Mumbai. There were at least 5 people asked the same question, saying, I would like to sell my product in America, or, how do I do that? How do I export to US, or, so vice versa. I mean, that this question comes up even here too. But there's some, there with the state of Georgia, there are phenomenal resources available to facilitate all that. We provide all these resources to our members, for instance, the director of Port Authority in Savannah, let's say Stacy, he sits on our board.
Wow, okay. That's nice.
So yeah, a great guy, and the people with the railroad here, CSX, I mean, they sit on the board. So what happens that all these resources that we have with the state of Georgia, with the Port Authority, the director of international aviation
Mhm.
at Hartsfield-Jackson. Rebecca, she is also on our board. So we have, air, water, and railway and road all covered.
Collaborate.
So all of your four big ones, they all sit on the board. So what happens, not just import export resources, how to apply for the license, where's the best way to bring it, which port to bring it, or is it cheaper to do it with air or water, or how to, but also the logistics of how to get your merchandise from point A to point B with the minimal cost, and so logistics is a very big part of that, and it's all covered. I mean, it's as simple as picking up the phone and calling and say, Stacy, we need pine wood in India, 16 containers. How do we make it happen? And we can make it happen, right? When something is coming from there, so it's that bilateral relationship that we have it covered, again, because I've been doing it for 35 years, right? So it's bringing the same resources I know into the chamber and making it available to all of our members. So it's my 35 years worth of connections and work, and say, here you go. You want to talk to Port Authority Director? Here he is. Say whatever you want to, spend an hour, find out what you want to do, and who can be better than that to tell you what happens at the port, right? Or here's the lady who runs the international airport, the cargo side of things. Okay, she's on board. I said, ask her whatever you want to, right?
I think this is a great place talking to you. I'm trying to, squeeze in 35 years of experience in 40 minutes. It is.
I know it's hard to do.
What I can tell to the audience and viewers is, I saw the board members, they are highly qualified in every area. And I'm sure that being part of this membership will help the businesses to grow faster, and also advisory kind of solutions the people get. So in the interest of time, I think it's a closure. We already extended the time. I think it was not even, I didn't feel that we have, it is like 40 minutes and above. So on a last closing statement, I would like to ask, what is your message to all our Indo-American friends, colleagues, and also the NRIs who are on the H-1B visa here or in any fashion? What is your message to them?
I tell them, look, we all work hard. We all want to be successful in this country or in India, anywhere where we have the business. Come join us, attend some of our events, ask questions, enjoy it. It's free to come in and network and meet with the leadership and then decide how we can help you succeed in your business, because it's hard. It's hard to survive in today's economy and different markets, and things are very uncertain. And what's going on since COVID, things have gotten worse. But hopefully we're making that good turn and come back to a healthy economy soon. But doing business in this type of uncharted waters is as hard as it is. So, don't be by yourself. We can be your partner in business and hold your hand and show you the way, give you the resources and the tools to succeed. So, come and find out what we do, and that's my message to them.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sheikh. Getting your time, 45 minutes, is not so easy. I know how busy you are. Again, thank you so much for spending this time for the community.
Right.
And I would say thank you to all the viewers, and please watch this video. And if you have any questions about the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, or if you want to do any business, or you have any need any advice, please reach out to me or Dr. Sheikh. He's more than happy to help our community. And as a closing note, please do watch these videos and bring in good people where that can be helpful to the NRIs. This is my voluntary opportunity for you all to serve you. Please do come and be on part of this if you have any achievements or to share. Thank you.
You know, one thing, there are a lot of different Indo-American chambers, you know, even local in different cities also. So look out, you know, for Indo-American Chamber of Commerce Atlanta, which is IACC-US.com. Okay. Because people do get confused sometimes. You know, because there's so many chambers. There's one in DC, one in St. Louis, there's a couple in Texas, you know, so I want to make sure that it's just the name everybody is using, Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. So we're at IACC-US.com. Okay, thank you. Check us out.
Thank you, Dr. Sheikh. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.